This is you, me, and BTC Live. Welcome to the show tonight, a special Sunday edition. That's right, it's a holiday, so we took some time off. That's why. Well, I don't know. Geez, we had a crazy schedule. I originally said, "Oh, hey, let's do our." Remember, because we went to 2 episodes. I said, "Hey, let's do it Monday." Then Tim screwed that one up. So he's like, all right, well, I told him let's do it Tuesday. And then I didn't have time to post it Tuesday. So it went out actually yesterday. And this is our apparently Thursday show. We'll call it. It's our late Thursday show. Thanks for joining us. I am Daniel Brown, and I'm here with
Tim Baker, the fuck up, apparently.
Zach Bull.
That's not news around here, Tim. Everyone knows that. So. Yeah, guys, we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about today. A couple things. ICOs, we got to cover them. Zach found an article where the S.E.C might be after them again. And I happened to see a tweet the other day that I thought was pretty funny about a lawyer going after ICOs. So we will get to all that today. Have some fun with ICOs. Zach's been doing a whole series about ICOs on our website, and I want to talk about that some too because it's hilarious. And I also want to talk about Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Gold because they are they're mooning in their own ways these days. So that is all coming up. Before we get there, I want to give a quick shout out to America's Card Room, who is making this extra episode a week possible. They're helping us do 2 episodes a week. And they are just an awesome Bitcoin site that is now taking over 60. They're an awesome poker site that is now taking Bitcoin and over 60 different cryptocurrencies. You can check them out at youmeandbtc.com/poker. And they have a code BTC100 will get you a 100% bonus up to $1,000. So that's just free money. And actually, there's more perks with that code too. BTC 100 youmeandbtc.com/poker. Welcome to the show, James Bond, in the chat there. If you want to join the chat with us all night long, we'll be going. Or if you're listening to this later and you still want to join the chat, you can every week. We are at youmeandbtc.com/live. James Bond says, you're looking more pale. My best guess is that it's because it's dark outside. So there's less natural light in here and more artificial light. I don't know. There was a time change. I used to do it at 6 o'clock, but now I do it at 7 o'clock because I'm in Arizona and we don't do daylight savings time. So that's my best guess. Okay, guys. Zach.
Yeah.
Tell me about this ICO stuff. What did this S.E.C dude say? What kind of S.E.C dude was he anyway?
So it's an article in the New York Times that came out today, actually, earlier today, by Nathaniel Popper. He sort of covers, he is a contributor or staff writer or whatever his title is at the New York Times, sort of covers ICOs. And New York Times and Popper wrote about ICOs at the beginning of the month, targeting celebrities who are endorsing all these ICOs like Floyd Mayweather. And the S.E.C issued a warning to them saying, like, even they're in hot water because if the ICOs are in violation of all these security regulations, then celebrities who endorse them could be in violation of fraud regulations and securities regulations and a whole nightmare. And Floyd Mayweather's already in hot water for taxes, allegedly at least. Who knows? So this latest Popper New York Times article is from a former S.E.C regulator who, and let me scroll down, I'm looking at the article right now. He said, Grundfest is his name, in response, or sort of in the conversation about ICOs, he says, is this amazing technology? Speaking about like the ability to raise so much funds or funding for these projects through coin and token offerings. He says, yes, but most of the stuff we see today is total crap. And then he has 2 more sentences in the article, and then it ends. So he says he wouldn't be surprised if he sees a lot more enforcement. He's sort of just waiting for it. He says, quote, "These are not hard cases. You don't need tons of teams, or you don't need teams of accountants poring over complex financing documents." So according to him, it's cut and dry. These are egregious violations of regulations, and the technology is crap too. So he's not, you would say he's not a big fan of ICOs. But he's a former SEC regulator, not the head of the SEC currently or anything like that. But his opinion still counts because, I mean, he worked in the department for a while. But so he thinks they're just egregious violations and crap. So they win or they lose both ways, in his opinion.
His name is Joseph Grundfest, which
yeah,
that just sounds a little weird to me, but whatever. He looks like a friggin', I don't know, some guy from some cop or crime TV show or something. Just old bald guy
like
in a suit.
yeah, exactly. Like what's that show, White Collar or something? He looks like he fits in White Collar, just waiting there to investigate fraud or something. But yeah, he thinks they're crap and fraud.
So yeah, we covered the SEC's warning back in episode, I want to say 185. Let me double check that real quick. Yeah, it was 185. If you want to get there, it's you, me, and btc.com/E185. That's how we do all of our episodes. But yeah, we covered a warning that they issued about like, hey guys, just be careful. All these ICOs, a lot of them could be securities, and that means they should be registered and yada, yada, yada. Now, at the time, and still pretty much, I thought it was hilarious. The name of the episode was like, the SEC sounds like my high school principal because they're making all these rules and nobody cares, which is exactly what my high school principal did. He was related to Tim, so sorry, Tim. But but that's something that we still need to cover today, because that's one of the biggest questions here. Anyone reading this article or talking about ICOs or whatever, one of the biggest questions is, should they be regulated as securities or however they want to do it? Should the SEC? And the thing is, even though Bitcoin is kind of a liberty-loving space, in some corners of it anyway, it's becoming more and more mainstream, so it's not so much liberty oriented. But still, even though Bitcoin is somewhat liberty oriented, and even though liberty people don't usually want the government to step in, there still have been tons of Bitcoiners that have said, yeah, we need to ban ICOs because they're all scams. And we generally agree that a lot of them are scams. So
and if you want a list of great candidates for scams, go read these articles on Pizza Coin and Moon Coin and all this nonsense. I mean, I would agree 99% of them are scams. I'm not a huge fan. And on top of that, people seem to, especially like the Coinbase group of people, think that like following regulations is the way to accelerate mainstream adoption of cryptocurrencies and that sort of thing, which I tend to agree with. Like, you have to some extent follow the laws, even if the technology doesn't fit nicely into existing legal structures. But they're still stupid, and I hate them.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's exactly the question: is what should they step in, or what do we think should happen? I don't know. What about civil suits? That's another thing. I'll go ahead and screen share this one because I just thought it was hilarious. Okay, I got to find the right window. So this is a tweet. Nope, that's our poll. I also got to mention that. Here it is. This is a tweet. I don't know who this is. James Mishra. I don't think I follow him, but the tweet says, October, Twitter ads for ICOs, which that definitely was happening a lot. There are ads all over Twitter and Facebook and our own website, which I want to talk about. There are ads everywhere for ICOs. And then it says November, Twitter ads for attorneys to sue the ICO people. And then there's a screenshot of this, apparently a lawyer who, whatever, he's a lawyer, and he says, contact us if you've lost money in a fraudulent ICO. currently investigating Centra, Stocks, Paragon, and Bancor.
James
So-
at the Crypto Law sounds like a real stand-up dude.
Yeah, well, you know, I know that you don't judge a book by its cover, but I just thought I went to his website and I just thought it was hilarious because he just looks so young. He looks like this guy that just like got out of college, out of law school, and is like, well, what can I do now? How about ICOs? Let's attack them. I don't know. He just looks kind of clueless in all his pictures, and he's just like, oh, I'm gonna make a website and go after cryptos. But anyway, I know that's completely unfounded. So
I kind
I
of
love
wonder,
you, James.
though.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know if I love you. I don't know you.
Well, good. I mean,
Go ahead.
good luck to you, James T. Crypto Law. I mean, my friend who put all of his money in Tezos, he's not only is he missing out on this incredible Bitcoin price, like new all-time high every day or every minute or something like that, but he's may lose all of his money altogether. So poor guy. But
Right.
I wonder at the same time why, if like this former regulator says it's so cut and dry and they're clearly violating securities regulations, why the SEC, even if there's just a modicum of truth in that, why the SEC isn't doing anything? Because like the IRS had no qualms going right after Coinbase for no one filing taxes or filing their crypto earnings, profits, returns in their taxes. Like if it is so cut and dry, or even if like for some of these lower hanging fruits of people who just run off with all this money, why isn't the SEC doing something? Like, I mean, I'm sure they have to sort of figure it out to some extent, but I don't know what they're waiting for, if they're waiting for something.
That's not normally the way the government organizations run the thing. Is, oh wait, let's figure this thing out, make sure we understand it before we start just fucking.
Yeah, they generally don't pause and carefully consider something before just charging full speed ahead.
What would be a rational
Right.
thing to do here?
But that's a good point, Zach. Like, even if you don't think they should step in, even if you don't really believe in regulation by force, it still is kind of a shocker. Like, well, still, like, yeah, I don't agree with it, but I'm still baffled, like, why they haven't stepped in yet. It's so clear and so egregious. Or even if it's not so egregious, they could just say, like, oh, yep, they're all securities, so we're going out, they're all illegal, or whatever, you know? Even if it's not an open and shut case, it still seems like, well, why wouldn't they just make some kind of declaration and say, this is the rule, and now we're coming after you all? So, I don't know the answer to that question, and that's the same question that the guy in this article is asking, Mr. Grundlefest. He's like, well, why is this? Why have you done nothing, SEC? What's going on there? And I don't know the answer to that question. Any theories? Any idea what could be?
It might be someone just not wanting to look stupid. Like, they're not trying to figure out a correct and rational way to go about this because they actually care about helping people or anything like that. It's that maybe it's a political thing. No one really wants to touch it because they don't know how it's going to look. People kind of want to wait and see how history goes and if this is going to be something that we're going to look on as better or worse. I say that's probably, if there is like an actual legal case for that, the only reason I can think of why they wouldn't just immediately go after it. Either that, or maybe it's just not a high profile thing. I don't know how the FCC works like that. Like, do they have like,
SEC?
okay,
Yeah.
like, is this this is one dude's project? Like, you're going after this one, and this, like, this guy takes a project because it's going to be something that brings him not glory. I'm trying to think of a less strong word than that, but just like praise, and it can get him a promotion, get him more money like that. And maybe just no one wants to fuck with it yet because it doesn't have enough of a benefit to them.
Yeah, exactly. I do. That's definitely a factor. Like, they have to wait for the big ones to really go after. They're not going to go after every little guy that tries to start Jesus Christ coin.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's my other thought. Even more surprising than if it is so cut and dry, the SEC not doing anything, is with all of the advisory statements they've released, why in their right minds would anyone start a new ICO right now? I mean, I guess without, if anyone has figured out all of the proper paperwork and approval and everything that you need to get an SEC or a ICO properly licensed and registered, why would you start a new ICO right now? Like, I mean, I would stay away from it. I have no idea.
Right. My guess would be that it's like a lot of these people, well, some of them probably feel anonymous. Some of them are probably doing it fairly privately, and they're probably based in Russia, and that's they probably are not scared at all of the U.S. government. Whether they are truly and successfully anonymous, you never know, because the government can probably find whoever they want to find. But still, they probably feel anonymous and aren't worried about being found, whether that's correct or not. Or even if their identity is known, they might just feel small enough that nobody's going to care about them. And like I said, maybe that's true. Maybe the government will just go after the big fish. And yeah, maybe most of these ICOs won't get touched. And so they're just like, well, let's see what we can do here.
Everyone thinks they're an exception, though. You couldn't persuade me to start an ICO. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's true.
And all these, all these people are signing on to be, like, I continually see at least once a week new people on Twitter that I follow signing on to be advisors for all these ICO.
Oh yeah.
Clearly, they're at least some of them, from what I can tell, are clearly operated within the United States. I mean, I don't know necessarily the liabilities for securities fraud that go along with just being an advisor for one of these things, but I assume you're definitely not innocent or unliable.
Right. So that brings me to one thing I wanted to bring up. Speaking of, as an advisor, in some way you're kind of advocating for a certain ICO, and I don't know, maybe that has certain legal implications. I have no idea. But I also in this tweet, like I said, they were talking about the Twitter ads, and I've seen them on Facebook as well. Ads for ICOs. I wanted to mention on our site a couple things. For some of the ads, there are some banner ads, and every once in a while, those banner ads will get filled with ads for ICOs. Now, the easy excuse there is just, oh, it's an ad network. You send it off to Google AdSense, and it gets filled with whatever. There's an ICO ad, so be it. And that's true. So that's one level of excuse that I can put there. Like, oh, well, AdSense put it up there. I'm not in charge of those ads. But I can't really give that kind of excuse, because I also directly sell ads to ICOs. I don't always send it off to AdSense. Every once in a while, somebody will reach out to me. They have an ICO and they want to run ads for it, including sponsored posts. And we've had a lot of those lately. I mean, a lot of them. I get emails every single day about sponsored posts. And I tell them the price, and I say, that's the price. You give me the content. We'll do some quick editing and we'll post it. The reason I'll admit, like, I'm making a bit of an excuse here, but I'm just trying to explain what's going on. This is an opportunity. I'm being dead honest with you guys here. Like, that's how much I love you guys. And this is what I'm telling you, okay? The reason I just, here's the price and take the content, is because I trust you guys. Which sounds, I don't know what that sounds like to you, if it sounds like I'm joking, or if it sounds like I'm just saying it to get your favor or whatever. But it's the truth. I trust you guys to know that when you see an ad, whether it's a post or a banner or whatever, I trust you to know that, first of all, it's probably a joke or a scam, or they just want your money. At the very least, whether it's right or wrong or good or bad, you should know that they just want your money. That's the way everyone is. And, then you can do research, or you can click on it or not click on it or whatever. So that's one thing I wanted to say. So when the topic of ICO ads came up, And since we've been doing a lot of those on our site lately, I just wanted to say, like, I trust you guys to know that we've said it countless times on this show that most ICOs are probably scams. There's no way to know for sure, but that's pretty much what it seems like. So that's the way I do my business is, all right, fine. If you want to pay the price and support the show, I'm not going to turn down your money because my audience is like, they know better. We tell them better on the show. So anyway, what do you think, Zach, Tim? Am I selling out?
No,
Go
I
ahead and
agree
beat me up over
completely.
that one.
Oh, you sold out a while ago. Yeah. I mean, it's yeah. I don't know that yeah, it's just not your job to police what people do or what people look at and what people see.
Well,
I think it was like
that's true in general. Like in general, like I don't give a crap about you. Go read whatever you want. You know, drive by whatever billboards you want. I don't freaking care. You're right. It's not my job. I don't care about, you know, anyone. You know, if I don't know you, why do I care what you're consuming or whatever? Sure, on the one hand. On the other hand, it is my website. I am the one putting up the billboard, so I am responsible for that content. So I don't know. I don't know. Is it? The reason I'm okay with it is because I think it's extremely common knowledge that ads are ads. You know, like if you see a banner, you know that, like I said, like it's not endorsed by the website. The website, I work on websites every day, and I deal with advertising every day, not just on YMB.
Yeah, that's what
And
that's how I was looking to. What you just said expresses what I was trying to think of a way to say. The fact that you're advertising it or selling, so there's a huge difference between like this guy on Twitter becoming an advisor on the board for some token or coin, and you selling virtual real estate on your website, whether by content or banner ad or whatever. It's advertisement is clearly not an endorsement. It's just
right.
And this is a pretty uneducated, unsophisticated opinion, but it's just you are putting up a billboard, but the billboard on the side of the highway, the billboard owner doesn't endorse the product that he's selling. Maybe he does, but even if he does, it's not connected to advertising that product. It's just
Right.
an economic exchange. So, and I feel like everyone viewing any website realizes that. Like sometimes you go on to, I don't know, the New York Times and see Viagra ads or something. It's not that like the
Right.
New York Times editor-in-chief is like a huge gung-ho Viagra shill, but it's just the means of doing business online. So
Right. That's what I was going to say. Since I work in this space, I know that 95% of the banner ads that show up on websites, you know, the person that runs the website never even sees it. It's run by Google. So it goes straight to, or whatever other ad network. Like the website, the publisher never sees most of the ads. They just send it off to the ad network, and whatever the ad network picks, it picks. You know, so and it's often they often pick things that are not even related to the publisher, they're related to the reader. So, you know, you might be on a website about Bitcoin, let's say, but if you happen to be a pet enthusiast and you really love your dog, you'll probably see ads for like dog food or something or dog toys because, you know, that most of the ad networks know who you are and they'll send you ads related to who you are. And they don't even care about the publisher. They don't even care about the Bitcoin website or whatever. They just send ads to you. And as a publisher, like I don't even see the ads most of the time. I have no idea what's there. And I just think it's extremely common knowledge that that's kind of how it works. Even if you don't know all the details, you know that when you see an ad, it's not endorsed by the publisher. So yeah, that's what I wanted to get out. I wanted to let you all know that I trust you. But just in case that, you know, just in case you're a little behind the curve on how all this works, now you know. I wanted to let you all know that. I figured it's a good opportunity to get it out since we were.
You said if you feel like, which I agree, it's extremely common knowledge that, like just like anyone, we don't endorse everything that we advertise. or that we allow to advertise, I feel like it's extremely common knowledge also that any ICO should be approached with like a huge amount of skepticism. I mean, I know some people who just like go crazy over the newest ICO because the ICO uses some cool buzzword or catchphrase or something like, oh yeah, this is the next Bitcoin. But I feel like it should be, or it is, common knowledge that ICOs are crap. Maybe one or two cool ones. Like I don't know, done a little bit of very light reading on EOS token or coin or whatever, and I don't know, seems cool. I still think it's ultimately a scam, but that's how I approach all ICOs.
Yeah.
And I
Even
feel
the best
like
one, you're still going to lose your money, probably.
yeah, I don't know. Do you think so? Like, do you think most people realize? Yeah, probably shitty.
That's a really good question, because on the one hand, it's like, yes, everyone I see on Twitter says, oh yeah, it's, be careful, they're probably scams, whatever, like
Yeah.
ICOs, ha ha ha, let's send the SEC after them, they're a joke. That's all I ever see.
So
But
who are
that's
all these
just my
people?
circle.
So
Exactly.
who are all these?
Exactly. It's like,
Yeah.
well, where does money come from?
Yeah, I know.
Like, why do they do it? How do they sell all their tokens? And then you
Yeah.
realize, like, well, my circle is pretty small, and there are lots of people out there who do give money to these things. And
that's what I think.
It depends.
So in one recent article, everything is Bitcoin, where I talk about how the fact that maybe these things are dangerous because newcomers will automatically think anything with bit or coin or any of these like crypto monikers in them are just like a cool approved investment that you could pour your fiat currency into in exchange for some weird cryptocurrency. And maybe that's what's happening. Like people just see everything that has a cryptocurrency cool sounding name and just have no idea which way is up and pour their money into it. I don't know, but I don't see anyone that takes ICO seriously as far as the circles that I follow, but I don't know.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Same. And it just, but there's people out there that apparently give money to these things. And I mean, I'm not going to say I've never done it, but I've only done it when I have a particular interest in a certain product. Like, well, honestly, not even like, I think literally the only ones that I've ever done were Spells of Genesis and Space Pirate, both of which are like blockchain-based card games. I don't think I've ever done it for anything else. And because I just happen to, I take an interest in those things, they seem to have serious value. When, I've said this before, but I know that games like Magic the Gathering generate a ton of value, and they're not even on the blockchain, which seems like a blockchain can genuinely add value to a product when you're talking about rare cards that you want to transfer online and you don't want the publisher to just keep printing them or whatever. Seems to truly have value to rare trading cards, and that's why I got involved. That's the only thing, as far as I can remember anyway, the only thing that I've ever done with ICOs. And so where was I going with that? I guess I'm saying like, well, yeah, yes, I'm one of the people that has given money to these, but only in that very specific case, card games. So anyway, and hey, maybe they were scams. Maybe they will fall out. Who knows? Although, they products already. Like, I mean, Spells of Genesis is a pretty cool card game. Look it up. So we got some chat going on, guys. It's just to get a porn sponsor. Okay, send. I gave him my email address. Whatever, send him my way.
We fully support ladyboys.com.
Well, yeah, he says, give me your address and I will send an actual lady boy your way.
Oh, geez.
I'm gonna have to pass on that one. Maybe next time, James. Maybe next
time.
Yeah,
he's engaged, James. Watch it.
Yeah, he's getting it in when he can.
NY Cartoon says the term ICO is the latest buzzword. Pretty much true, although it's not, I wouldn't call it the latest these days. It's been around for a year or so at least. So I think we're on to Bitcoin forks these days.
Yeah.
But guys, if you want to jump in the chat, that's you, meandbtc.com/live. We got a good, 20 minutes at least right now, so you're welcome to jump in there. James Bond says it's my loss for not giving him my address. Yeah, might be. I don't know. All right, guys, I want to, speaking of sponsors and ads, I heard someone put it this way before, a radio host that said something like, well, if it's their voice, just like with a banner ad, if it's their voice, their content, their image, whatever, whatever, I'll probably just run it on the website unless it's inappropriate or whatever, then I'll turn it down. But in general, I don't even have to see it, just run it on the website and so be it. But he said, like I said, he's a radio host, and he said, but if I'm going to give my own voice, my own recording with my own voice, if I'm going to physically endorse it with the sound of my voice, you have to love it. So that's kind of what we talked about today. Like, hey, most ads, it's just their content. It has nothing to do with the publisher, and it's just a random ad, and they just want your money. But every once in a while, there's something that you truly endorse with your own voice. So that's what I want to say today. Again, just like at the beginning, it's America's Card Room. I love poker. I love crypto. They let you deposit and withdraw with over 60 different cryptocurrencies. So I'm going to run their ad here. Now, I guess in this case, it is their ad, but I am also endorsing them with my own voice. So anyway, that's that. I'm going to ask Tim and Zach to mute themselves, and I'm going to run this ad, and then we will be right back in a moment. I also switched to, I'm actually going to talk about this right when we get back. I switched to Firefox, which is why I'm clicking around a little bit extra right now, and I want to share why so terribly, but we'll be back in a few seconds.
Get ready for Crypto Overload. We're making it easy to get into the game at America's Card Room with your favorite cryptocurrency. We are thrilled to announce that you can deposit and cash out using more than 60 different cryptocurrencies. We are the first poker site to offer this after already accepting Bitcoin from the beginning. Cryptocurrencies are the future. We can predict that playing real money poker will never be easier at americascardroom.com.
All right. So yeah, like I said, you can find them at meandbtc.com/poker. Really unrelated, but since it came up there, I want to mention that I did switch to Firefox. I just want to bring it up because it's interesting. It's a little bit techy, and you guys, it's privacy oriented. So I don't know. Maybe you guys are interested. I did switch to Firefox because they released a major update a week or two ago called Firefox Quantum. And the long and short of it is, geez, we've had so many conversations about privacy on this show. And I don't have to rehash the whole thing. Yes, we've basically said countless times, like, whatever, everyone knows Google has all your information, and we still use Google because we love YouTube and we love searching for stuff and whatever. Like, yes, we love privacy, but I still use Google a lot. That's what we've said kind of before. And I still agree with that. But what we've said is, hey, but if it's easy, like if all you have to do is install the Signal app and you're good to go, like it literally takes 30 seconds to install the Signal app, and all of a sudden you have encrypted text messaging end to end with a relatively trustworthy protocol, well then sure. If it's easy, then definitely be private. But you don't have to go all the way out of your way to do X, Y, and Z. Like, I mean, if you want to do PGP emails and whatnot, sure, go for it if you happen to enjoy it. But most people don't enjoy it. And if you let them, force you to go way out of your way to just communicate with someone, then you've already lost the battle. They're already controlling your life. It's private and figure out all this PGP crap and whatever. So that's been our stance in the past. If it's easy, sure, be private, be encrypted, whatever. If it's complicated and annoying, don't let them control your life. Don't let them make you, go out of your way to do X, Y, or Z. So that's a summary of our stance. And that's why I switched to Firefox. It used to be that Firefox was generally considered a lot slower, a lot heavier than Google Chrome, a lot more of a burden on your computer, and it would make your fan run or whatever. But with this update, it became, as far as I can tell after using it for a couple weeks, I hardly notice any difference from Chrome. Works. Same as anything else I've ever used. And it seems like a great update. They are definitely privacy oriented. Obviously, compared to Google, like even if Firefox kept every bit of data they could get their hands on, they would still be keeping less than Google. So, it's pretty much regardless of what Firefox, regardless of how private they say they are, and regardless of how private they really are, they're probably way better than Google. So it was easy. I barely notice any difference from Chrome these days. So sure, I'm using Firefox now. I also switched to DuckDuckGo. I don't know if I'll be able to keep doing that. I mean, it just doesn't seem to pull up. I'm a developer, so I'm constantly searching for like, how do you find a certain post in WordPress, in PHP, I'm looking for coding advice, WordPress advice, all kinds of stuff like that. I just feel like it hasn't been getting the most useful results. I feel like I've been searching a lot more. I feel like there have been a lot of searches where I'm like, well, that's not quite what I want. That's not quite what I want. How can I phrase this differently to get what I need? Maybe I'm biased. Maybe I don't know. But anyway, so I wanted to share that for a few quick minutes. Tim, Zach, any browser thoughts? What do you guys use?
DuckDuckGo, isn't it one that like pays you to browse or something, or pays you to search? Oh
no, it all it does is, it's just supposed to be private searching. They're supposed to not log anything, not collect any data, stuff like that.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I mean, I don't know a ton about the search industry, but I've read here and there that like Google's market dominance in search specifically is sort of gradually eroding through DuckDuckGo and other search engines. I mean, not so much Bing, I guess, although whoever you are, people do use Bing every now and then. But I guess, I mean, I don't know
whoever you are,
whatever kind of freak that is.
I don't know who consciously chooses to use Bing. But all that to say, DuckDuckGo, these other search engines, I do not necessarily privacy related, but people do use other are starting to use other search engines. I don't know. People still use Internet Explorer too. Also, I have a friend who I'm just like, who are you people? Like, so yeah.
Or Microsoft Edge. It's funny. The tech podcast I listen to, I've mentioned him on the show now and then. Brian Sovereign, he's a big tech guy in the Liberty space. But even though he loves tech and he knows all about computers, he actually does use Microsoft Edge for the privacy reasons, because he refuses to use Google Chrome. Even Chromium, which is like the base Chrome, like before Google gets their hands on it, it's actually Chromium. And it's supposed to be, the base version that Google builds on top of. But even that he won't use. He won't use Firefox, and he just uses Microsoft Edge for whatever reason. Even though it's heavier, that's what he used. But he's also the one that told me about this Firefox update, and the reason I knew about it, and the reason I started using it. So, Tim, what's your browser and search situation?
I just use Chrome most of the time.
And Google search?
Yeah.
Well, good luck. Have fun when the feds come to your door, Tim.
Yeah, I mean, they're coming for everybody, bro. Even if you're dumb little Firefox ain't going to help you whenever it's just, hello? Like,
exactly.
But it was the Carfax.
So we have a great chat message from NY Cartoons. He says, well, what about the Brave browser? which is actually extremely relevant because, well, for a couple reasons. One, we actually covered Brave a while back. Geez, what are the chances that I can actually find it? I have no idea. So we'll see. I'll see if I can get it in the last few minutes of this episode. I tweeted the episode number, and I'll see if I can find it. But yeah, so the Brave browser, which we covered before, was supposed to be this thing, kind of like Steam, the social network where you got paid for your content instead of having ads. Like the viewer, the reader would commit a certain amount of cryptocurrency to everything that he read or whatever. Brave was supposed to do that in a sense. It was its own browser, and as you browse the web, it would keep track of what you visited, and it would give crypto to the sites that you visited. And the reason, actually, so when I tweeted like a week or so ago that Firefox, somebody else said the same thing on Twitter. Someone replied and said, well, why don't you just try Brave? And the reason that I have never done that, which is the same thing that we said when we covered Brave in this episode that I'm trying to find, is because there's literally on their website, they say like, oh, if you're a publisher and you want to receive money through Brave, like if you want your readers that use Brave to pay you, you have to give us your tax forms. Like it says that on their website. So I was like, okay, no, thank you.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's what I came down to. I did find the tweet. So let me flip on my screen share again. Actually, also I should say that the one thing with Firefox is that it does not support Google Hangouts, or I guess it would be the other way around. Google Hangouts does not support Firefox, or however you'd say that. So I do have to have one Chrome tab open while I'm streaming to do Hangouts, and that's kind of annoying, but whatever. So yeah, here's a tweet. I said I switched to Firefox Quantum, and I won't need to use Google Chrome again anytime soon. I even tagged Brian Sovereign on there. And then it's Tip Me Bits. So thanks for watching, Tip Me Bits. Yeah, I would love to have you as a fan, no question about that. But we have our disagreement here. He says, why not check out Brave? And there it is, episode 146. So you, me, and btc.com/e if you want to listen to our Brave episode. But then I put a screenshot from the Brave website that says, after verifying your site, you can view the current funds available for withdrawal. If you are ready to receive your funds, you may verify your wallet and submit the necessary tax forms. So they're like, all the Brave users are clicking around all these websites and sending them crypto. But if these websites want to claim their crypto, they have to submit tax forms to Brave, which meh.
Yeah.
But we actually did get a reply from one of the, I don't know if he's a developer or a CEO or whatever. His name's Samson from Brave. And he says, of necessity, publishers.brave.com is KYC, which means know your customer. Users of Brave don't need to share any information. They can use the browser and fund their wallet anonymously. So what? I don't care if you're a user or a publisher. Sure, users can be anonymous. Yay, that's great. But what about publishers? They should be too, as far as I'm concerned.
Wait, saying he might be. It might not be that. He might be saying like, you have to, like, you're a publisher, you're a user of it though, and that you could.
Nope.
Not at all. Okay.
That's the way the terminology works. The user would be the reader. The publisher would be the person that runs the website.
All right.
So the user, the reader, can be anonymous, but that's what he's saying. But the publisher website has to be KYC.
Yeah. Know
your customer. So, and the biggest reason, like, like we said, there's so many ICOs these days, so much crypto happening, blockchain happening. And with all of this crap going down, you can't think of a way to say, well, why don't we just decentralize this whole reader pays publisher thing? That's what Steam did. Actually, no, I don't know. I think they're incorporated and they probably do handle a lot of the funds as a middleman. But still, there's no way that there's no way to have a decentralized system like this where the reader pays the publisher. Like, why does Brave have to handle funds? Why do they have to collect tax forms? Like, why can't you just have the reader directly pay the website based on blockchain, encryption, whatever crypto you want? And the reason I know that it's possible, the reason I'm so sure of that, is because it's already a thing. It's called ProTip. Okay? We've talked about them before. It's created by some of the people over at World CryptoNet, who we love. But it's called protip.is, I think is the website. I'm looking for it. Yep, that's it. Protip.is. It's just an extension, a Firefox or Chrome extension that keeps track of the websites that you visit. And every time, if it sees a Bitcoin address, it connects that to the website. And every week, or however you want to set it up, every once in a while, it makes a payment to each of those websites based on the amount of time that you spent there. That is why I put a Bitcoin address at the end of all of my show notes, no matter where they are, on Spreaker, on YouTube, on SoundCloud, on our own website. I always put a Bitcoin address at the end so that if people are using ProTip, it will scan the page, find that address, and it will know that, oh, they spent an hour on this page watching this episode. Therefore, we'll allocate X amount of funds to you, me, and BTC at the end of the week. That is already a thing. It doesn't need its own crypto. It doesn't need its own browser. All it is an extension that looks for addresses and decides to pay them as much as you choose, as much as the reader chooses. That's how I know that it's possible. That's how I know that Brave should not have to collect my tax forms, because it's already a thing. Wow. We spent like half the episode talking about browsers now, and that wasn't even supposed to be a topic. But that was fun. I wanted to share that because I love, even though privacy can be annoying sometimes, and so I still use Google. Despite that, I still love privacy. Don't misunderstand me. I love privacy and I want you to have it. I just don't want you to have to go way out of your way to achieve it. And so I happen to find a place where it's super easy. Just install Firefox instead of Chrome. Same thing. After a week of using it, you will not notice any difference. You set your settings how you want, load up your bookmarks however you want. You will not notice a difference. Although I guess some people, like, they really want to like synchronize their search history between their PC and their phone or something like that. And they really want, like, oh, if I type in like, let's say BLO, I want it to immediately suggest blockchain.info or whatever the site may be. And a couple things I would say to that. First of all, okay, shut up. You can't just type out blockchain.info. And besides, each device will still remember individually. Like, that's why, you know, my computer will remember that I visited blockchain.info if I allow it to. There's settings for that. And my phone will remember that, so they don't really need to synchronize. But they also, Firefox actually does have those synchronization options for your bookmarks and your history or whatever, if you so choose. I did not choose to enable that just because I don't really care. I don't use any bookmarks ever. And, you know, whatever. I don't really care about my history. Like I said, each device will remember itself, so who cares? So anyway, there's that. That's one thing that some people claim is better about Google is synchronization. In some ways, but that just doesn't apply to me. So, and yes, I did switch to Firefox on my phone as well because it's just worked. So it still is just as easy. and it seems more private. So, okay, guys, let's see what were we supposed to talk about for the second half of this episode? NY Cartoons, back to the chat real quick. NY Cartoon says that he uses Brave on his phone and it works well. I'm not blaming you for that. If it works, it works. That's great. If the publisher gets your money for that, great. Sure. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying I wasn't interested because they wanted tax forms.
With all this craziness of the Bitcoin price, we wanted to chat about sort of predictions going into or like crossing over into the new year and what we think it'll look like in 2018, and also with like Bitcoin Cash and even Bitcoin Gold a little bit.
Yep, definitely. That's exactly what we wanted to talk about. What was that?
Yeah.
So on top of like Bitcoin going crazy, Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Gold still doing their thing. They have a little bit of juice left in the tank.
Yeah. So what do you think about that? I mean, Bitcoin Cash went ham. Let me see. I'll pull up the old classic BitcoinRatio.com and let me turn.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with it. I dumped my Bitcoin Cash a while ago. But something funny about Bitcoin Cash spiking is there was this guy on Twitter that posted a graph about how Bitcoin Cash's whole thing is it's faster, it processes more transactions per hour, more quickly and cheaper, all that nonsense. And he said, okay, hold on a minute. Look at this. Dogecoin was processing more transactions per hour for the entire lifetime of Bitcoin Cash up until whenever, like halfway through the first spike, and he's like, oh, so Bitcoin Cash is being outdone by Dogecoin. That's great.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's interesting. Definitely. Yeah, I pulled up the old trusty BitcoinRatio.com to keep track of all these different Bitcoin forks. And this is Bitcoin per Bitcoin Cash. It's 0.176 Bitcoin per Bitcoin Cash. But I'll go ahead and switch to dollars so it's a little more consumable. $1,700 for a Bitcoin Cash. Holy crap. Holy crap. So my biggest question is, I mean, hey, we dismissed this more or less. I mean, I'm not trying to say we're the greatest people in the world, but we're generally open-minded on this show only because we never commit to anything. And so, yes, we were open-minded about Bitcoin Cash. I'm sure that we said, well, it could take off. I'm sure that we said that because that's what we always say. Oh, it could be this, could be that, whatever. So I'm sure that we said it could take off, but still, like, I want to know. But in general, we dismissed it, and now I'm a little worried. Like, oh crap, did we dismiss it too much? Is it really going to take off? On that, do you think it? What are the chances that you guys would give me percentages? Just go ahead and make a guess. What percentage, possibility would you say that it is that Bitcoin Cash kind of takes over and becomes the one? Just totally, I know probabilities are sketchy games, but still, total guess. What do you got?
I'd give it a 5% chance. Like, I'm not super confident. I don't know. I think well, that doesn't necessarily work in some ways, I guess. But it's sort of what I don't think works in every circumstance is what I'm about to say. It's sort of just forked instead of creating its own coin and having people actually mine it and buy it and so forth. Like, obviously people still mine it and buy it, but the snapshot gives everyone Bitcoin Cash whether they want it or not. And so it sort of gets a leg up on everyone else who's trying to build their own coins from scratch, which is maybe why forks are so popular. I'm not a Bitcoin Cash believer, and I think people who right now are so adamant about it taking over or like eclipsing Bitcoin just see a lot of high prices and green candlesticks and think, oh yeah, it's the end for Bitcoin. Bitcoin Cash is the new thing. But now their great hero Roger Ver is shilling for some little ICO startup, some like red coin. I forget what it's called. I don't know. I saw it on Twitter.
Socialist.
Yeah. So that's what your leader's doing now, you Bitcoin Cash nerds.
All right, Tim. So James Bond in the chat says, "Let Tim talk now." So I guess.
Hello,
what do you got,
James.
Tim? What's your percentage?
Jeez.
92%. They're gonna take over everything. I fuck it. I don't. I give them like a 20% chance, just because I think there's more of a chance at 5. 20% chance. It's still not that likely, but I wouldn't be like, oh Jesus, like what the fuck happened if it did.
All right.
I'm smacking.
What
my
do we do?
enough.
What do we do if it does? Do we sell? Does YMB sell our Bitcoin for Bitcoin Cash?
YMB becomes you, me, and Bitcoin Cash, and we completely sell out.
You, me, and
You, me, and
BCH.
BCH. Or BCC. We do BCC to keep the rhyme in there. You, me, and BCC.
Oh, true.
It's only one letter difference. Geez. So, hey, guys, I want to mention, we really got to wrap up. We're already over an hour, well, at least we're past 8 o'clock my time, past 10 o'clock Eastern. But we're still under an hour because Tim was late. Thanks a lot, Tim. But I want to mention a couple of things. Our poll, first of all, if you want to vote. So go to you, me, and btc.com/alive. It's a Twitter poll going on for the next hour or next week. Sorry, that's a pretty big difference. But I want to ask how much longer you guys think the ICO madness will last. So that's what we covered in the first half of the show, is how the S.E.C. and lawyers, the possible civil suits, are going to be cracking down on ICOs. So I want to know if you think that in general, will ICOs last a few months, a few years, a few decades, or would you like to IC MIO? And that's a voting option too. So let me know what you think over on our poll on Twitter. If you're not following us, it's at you, me, and BTC. I also want to shout out Zach's latest article, Insane Coin Offerings to the Moon. He wrote all about moon coins. There's I don't know, what were they all called? BTC Moon, BitMoon, Moon Coin, Moon Funding, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
all
it's
kinds
nuts.
of moon coins. Lunar Coin, BitLuna, Luna Coin. It goes on and on and on and on, speaking of ICOs. And I believe the link you, me, and btc.com/moon works. I typed it in as I said it, and we'll find out in our trusty old Firefox browser. Yes, that one works. You, me, and btc.com/moon if you want to check that out. Guys, it's time for advice. We got to squeeze this in super quick. You get one sentence to wrap up here, guys. It could be about ICOs. It could be about browsers. It could be about investing in ICOs, whatever you want. About advertising, we talked about that for a while. What do you got for us, guys? Any advice? One sentence. Go.
My advice is to listen to Tim Draper. And this is still one sentence. He predicted in 2014, when Bitcoin was about $400, that it would reach $10,000 by 2018, and he's pretty much right on the money. So that's pretty impressive. I mean, maybe he'll make another prediction and be wrong, but all the way in 2014, when it was a couple $100 to 2018, 10,000, that's pretty good. He did well. So kudos to him, and maybe listen to him. Unlike Goldman Sachs, which makes predictions all the time and isn't necessarily that accurate.
Yeah, that's a good point. We barely even mentioned the price today, but it is skyrocketing. Even though I'm using Firefox, they do have a Bitcoin price extension that always shows the price in the top corner. So, yeah, whatever, 9,600-ish as we speak. Holy crap. I'll take that. My advice is, I mean, honestly, I could talk about all these subjects again: browsers, privacies, ICOs, whatever that means, ICOs. But I really like the advertising thing. I'm just going to say, don't trust advertisements. That's my one sentence. Don't trust advertisements. Yes, I make my living from ads, but I don't think you should trust them. I think you should do your research before you click or buy or give them. Yeah, well, click on them, sure, whatever. Find out more. But before you give them money, do some research. All right, what do you got for us, Tim?
Always trust men named Tim and
Good one. Good one.
Hold.
And what? Hodl?
Hold. I don't know. Hodl.
Hodl. What does
hodl.
hold mean?
Hold.
What does,
just hold.
What does hold mean?
Fuck you. Fuck you. And I actually thought we were starting at 9:06, so fuck you too. That's my other advice. Don't let Daniel bully you around. Stand up to him.
Wait, hold? What does hold mean? I lost you.
Just like hold your Bitcoin. I don't know.
Hold? What is
Yeah.
What?
Wait,
this isn't me. Is it Zach? This is him, right?
Yeah, are you messing with Tim? He said hold. Like not
Hold.
hold, but hold.
Wait, you mean like hodl?
Yes.
Is that
Oh my
hodl?
God.
Oh,
Other advice to
hodl.
make.
Why didn't you just
Find
say
those lady
so?
boys from Daniel and have them poison him.
Why didn't you just say so? Hodl. Why is it
so?
gotta be so complicated about saying weird
sorry,
words like
man.
hold?
I don't use
Hold.
these correct words. It's just you.
Yeah, Tim. Why are you retarded?
I know RBTC, bitch.
NY Cartoons says his advice is sell your ICO and disappear. That's decent advice. If somehow the ICO that you invested in is up, yeah, sure, get rid of some. Definitely, you disappear before they disappear. Sure,
yeah.
That's decent advice. Chance to get your advice in the chat, or if you're listening later, we would love to hear your advice. The best place is probably Twitter at you, me, and BTC. That's probably the best place to get a hold of us. Let us know if you have some advice, and I'll go ahead and commit to saying we'll share it next week. If you have anything for us, and if you tweet us, we'll be sure to mention it next week. Or I guess I should say this week, because we're doing a late episode on Sunday, and our next episode will be our next live episode will be Thursday, as usual, 9 to 10 p.m. Eastern. I'm also going to say that we should have an episode tomorrow. Like I said, 2 episodes a week, thanks to America's Card Room. That we should be on schedule for our regular Monday episode as well tomorrow. So we'll see you there. We'll have a great time. We will talk Bitcoin. We'll talk privacy. We'll talk browsers if we have to, even if it wasn't planned. We'll have a blast. This is you, me, and BTC. I have been Daniel Brown. And I have been here with
Tim Baker
and Zach Vol.
And we will catch you later. Peace out, homie G's. You, me, and BTC.com in the meantime.
Homie G.